Hey everyone, welcome to With the Messenger. My name is Whitney, and this will be a full moon in Capricorn reading for all signs. I feel, and it's a weird energy, but I feel inspired almost to do this reading. I think it's because of the music that I was listening to while I was preparing for this reading. I didn't even break it down the way I normally would do for each sign. So this will be a little bit different, but we will have timestamps included. The title of this reading, I got this while listening to music. I was listening to Michael Jackson's song, Man in the Mirror. And so that's the title of this. And I feel because Capricorn energy is tied with the father of the zodiac, right? Although it's a feminine energy, it's still tied with the father archetype because of Saturn and, Cronus energy. I feel, regardless of your gender, that whatever change that you need to take is going to start with yourself internally, right? This is the first Capricorn full moon that we've had without Pluto's present in so many years, 20 something years. So it is profound in you being able to take your free will, right? Because I feel like when there isn't much influence from the outer planets, that it more so has to do with your free will as what you get to do. Now that the dispositor of this full moon is Saturn in the sign of Aries, and Aries is very much it's the first sign of the zodiac, right? So it's very much about self-initiation, right? And so this lunation, I feel, will call for you to be bold. It will call in some cases for you to be a bit brash if it's necessary that you need to stand up for yourself, right? It is happening at 18 degrees of Capricorn. 1 second. Because I believe that's yes, that is a Virgo degree, right? Some people see that degree as a bad degree, but it to me represents the other side of Virgo, the potential that they have to heal, right? So this degree, though they see it as the very evil degree, is also seen as the one who cures, okay? And I feel that is also kind of tied to like Chiron energy, right? Chiron is still in the sign of Aries. Now there is a degree of this lunation having themes to the past, because it will have a trine to the South Node in Virgo, and the South Node is definitely about the past. The South Node is about things that we need to learn and let go and heal and release, right? But you see, learn, heal, right? There's something that you have to do, action-oriented Aries energy. There's something you're gonna have to do first before you do the latter. Okay, just checking out. There is a very loose trine as well to Mars in Virgo, so your Virgo house will be involved in this lunation, but in a beneficial ways, because Jupiter is trines are the nature of Jupiter. Okay, we will see on a world stage themes to do with rulers in your workplace or the corporate world, managers, or just people who are powerful in the world. We will see themes around them. Okay, I did not do this either. I normally check to see what fixed stars are activated. Let me just see. It's going to be really quick. Just on the world stage, right? If you do have placements between 17, 18, 19 degrees of Capricorn and there's a fixed star there, then definitely that will get activated. So we have 2 fixed stars activated. Sheliak. It has to do with artistic talent, trouble with authority, independent thought, right? So definitely this is an energy of you, and that's why I say you have to be brash in some way and be bold, right? Stand out from others. it also has to do with sexual adventures, disgrace, death by violence. So remember, those are more on like the world stage, right? It's an activation of in the fixed star of that. Another one at 19 degrees Capricorn, which is very close to like 1 degree orb, is Deneb, and that has to do with martial arts. Actually, both of these fixed stars are fortunate stars. Ability to command, liberality, and beneficence. Okay, so something beneficial, right? Yeah. So with this ability to command here, I feel like there'll be some leaders or rulers who will be called upon to rectify some situations in the world. Okay, with the independent thought of Shiliak, I do feel like some people will be breaking out of a programming or a thought process. I saw 555, so definitely change. So that's where I'm gonna end this here. Oh no, there could be at this time people having a difficult time, or they will be struggling with hearing the truth. Okay, so but remember, be bold, be brash, speak your truth anyway. All right, because people with their lunation around 18 degrees of of Capricorn, they like to be praised, but they don't like hearing the truth. Okay, they struggle even if they let me rewind that. They struggle with hearing truthful words about things that they would have to rectify. They struggle with constructive criticism. Okay. Oh, I look so beautiful today. Anyways, let's move on. So I'm gonna break it down into elements. I think that's how I did the last reading. And I have my little wheel here. And for air signs, it's going to be moksha houses. So let's start with air signs. Put down your time there, and I'm gonna pull a card for each of you. Okay, 1 or 2 cards, and we're gonna start off first with Libra, simply because Libra, not only is this a moksha house for you, this is also an angular house. So this is major change as it relates to your inner world. I see the 4th house as the inner world. It also has to do with your home life, your home environment, the home that you came from, the home that you have now. It has to do with your property, right? It also has to do with the mother. Okay, it does have to do with the mother. One second, I'm looking for something else here that I feel will be very helpful for this reading, but for some odd reason I cannot find it. Yeah, there we go. I want to see what is the okay. Yeah, so it have to do with your home. It has to do with your land. Okay, so maybe some of you would want to take that next step to pursue home ownership. Okay, some of you though, because it's a moksha house and it's more so a full moon, which is like completion energy, right, or breakthrough energy, you might be releasing some wounds around your childhood. You might be looking towards in the next 6 months, because remember, lunations take 6 months to play out. You might be looking towards getting your own home or your own place to feel that sense of comfort. Okay, some of you with this boldness, you may have a conversation with your mother. It might not be an easy one to have, but in the next 6 months, but it could be very necessary for you in order for you to move forward. Now there is a trine to Virgo in your 12th house, another moksha house for you. So there's subconscious patterns and programming that I feel that you'll be releasing. For some of you all, you could be literally moving homes. Okay, moving to very distant shores though. It's not gonna be like down the street 30 minutes away. It's gonna be further than that, a drive, a few hours drive, or flyby. Okay, so for Libras, let's see what we have for you all. Now, this positor of this is Saturn in Aries, and that is conjunct Neptune. And there's an element for me with Neptune of, I know it could represent illusions, but I feel there's hope associated with the planet Neptune. But it being now in the sign of Aries, that warrior planet, you're gonna have to be the one to fight for that freedom. Okay, you're gonna have to initiate whatever it is that will bring you what you need in your world. For Libras, please. We have for Libras, please, with the full moon in Capricorn. Oh wow. So I'm gonna take the bottom as a second card, and this is very, very interesting because we have a gift or offer that comes your way. So for some of you all, it could be someone in your family line gifting you something, right? But I say it's very interesting because of the bottom deck we have forgiveness. Okay, so this could be you asking. I'm getting chills actually. This could be you asking for forgiveness or someone else asking for forgiveness, because it's interesting. We have transformation and miracles afterwards. So it's like you never thought this would be possible. You know what I mean? Let's move on to Gemini. Okay, Gemini. So this is happening in your 8th house, with a trine to Mars and the south node in your 4th house. Okay, simply put, and I posted this on Twitter actually, that Gemini risings, Gemini moons, even Gemini suns, y'all need to book your therapy appointment. Okay, Uranus has moved into the sign of Gemini. There will be a lot of shakeups that comes your way, good or bad. And the reason why, even if it's good, you still need that therapy. If you've been in a space of survival mode, if you've been in a space where you have just allow yourself to, I mean, this is still survival mode, just get by from one thing to the next, something might come in that has the potential to really plant roots, and you might not be able to see that, and then just mess it all up. Okay, so I definitely feel you along with Libra for sure. There are themes connected to your home life that you're definitely going to have to work through at this time. It's not going to be easy, but because there's a trine that is activated between the 4th house and the 8th house, you could be liberated somehow, right? The 8th house is about what others have, what you feel others owe to you, what you share with others. And I'm just looking up at my wheel, right? It has to do with the spirit world, the ancestral experiences. So some of you, this will be a time where your dreams will be so profound. Okay, the 8th house is a house of transformation. So you are your internal world at this time, and the 6 months that follows, because remember, these take 6 months to play out. It's going through a major shift. Okay, this is the first lunation without Pluto present. So if you want to really take advantage of this, I would say that you should try to engage in some type of therapy or somatic exercises, you know, release the trauma stuff from your hips type thing, especially since Scorpio energy, which is the 8th house energy, has to do with the sacral. Is it sacral? Yes, sacral chakra area, right? The reproductive womb. So this could definitely be a time where some of you need to, especially if you would like to, with the trine to Mars and the south node in your 4th house, would like to expand your family, there may be some blockages there that you need to release. Some of you are going to have to, because of Mars in the 4th house, and where Mars is like a sword. Mars brings a time where you have to make intense decisions that you may not necessarily want to make. So it could be a time where you have to cut off a family member, a mother, move away from the place that felt like home, or move away from where you don't feel like home. Like, how do I put this? This is supposed to be your home, but it's a house. You know what I mean? Like a house, that song, a house is not a home, right? It's kind of like that energy, just to go and find where your comfort is, or just to allow you to step outside of where you've been complacent, even if you're not comfortable there. It's not always that we're comfortable, it's just sometimes we could be just complacent in something and accept that as the status quo in your life. And this is saying it's time for you to transform. I have to say, 8th house is also a death house. Doesn't mean you will die. It could be someone in your family line, an elder family member, right, with the trine to Mars in your 4th house, that could pass away, and they could leave you something, especially if you have Libra placements, because Libra got gift and offer as their message. Okay, so pay attention to your dreams. Definitely pay attention to your dreams. Do the shadow work that will come up, because this will be very emotional for you. For Gemini, what do we have for the full moon in Capricorn? Remember, these takes 2 weeks to 6 months to play out. Yeah, we have depression. I hope you can see that. And then we have distorted masculine. So if you listen to the beginning when I spoke about the man in the mirror energy, and I was saying regardless of your gender, you know, this is just about Capricorn being the father archetype. There is something within you that you're probably at a space where, though you're taking action, it's not inspired action, or you feel like you're struggling through what should be things that should be with ease. It's like, yes, you want it, but there's misalignment within you, right? Or a reluctance still within you to do certain things, whether you're doing it or not doing. There's a reluctance within you, and so you wanna kind of tap into that. It's interesting. I'm a Gemini moon and sun, and in my messages for myself, every so often I pull cards for myself. It's not often, but like once or twice a month. And I got nature, and I also got dominance. And I said, when I first saw the 2 cards, before I even read the message from the book, I said to myself, this definitely means that when I feel a dark energy trying to take hold of me, trying to dominate me, that I need to try to get outside, walk. Maybe the walks could inspire me about things that are, you know, internal blockages as well. So try to get that done. Gemini, get to see a therapist. I have my appointment on Saturday. Let's move on to Aquarius. All right, Aquarius. So this is happening in your 12th house with a trine to Virgo energy. Sorry, the Mars and the South Node in Virgo. In your, what house is that for you? What house is that for you? 6th house? Is that your 6th house? One second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Your 8th house. Yeah, I want to know. It's supposed to be a moksha house. Yeah, so your 8th house and your 12th house. Okay. Pay attention to your dreams at this time. I'd also say pay attention to what addictions comes up for you all specifically, because these 2 houses do have to do with addiction. You know, 12th house has to do with escapism, the 8th house has to do with addictions or wounds. If you are interested in the occult, this would be a good time to really dive into it with houses 8 and 12 activated for you, because they both have to do with like the spirit world and, you know, the occult, stuff like that. This could be a time, these are both houses about things that are hidden, whether, you know, 12th house hidden enemies or just like secrets on a whole. The 8th house also has to do with secrets, so I wouldn't be surprised if some secrets come to light for you all during this time. But I feel like it will be liberating because of the trine. Like it'll force something to end with Mars there in the 8th house. It'll force something to end and allow for a transformation to happen, whether it's a transformation of that situation or a transformation of you. Okay, maybe this might be you deciding to finally speak the truth about something. The 12th house also has to do with our karmic debts. Okay, so with the ruler of this in your third house. Is it the third house? Yes, Aries. You might speak up. The third house has to do with communication. You might speak up about something here. That there's a potential for that. Just be careful of escapism. You know, these things could come to the forefront for you. Things that are in the depths of your subconscious that has a hold on you. Like Gemini, I will say for you all, it is a potential for someone around you to pass away simply because of the 12th house being a house of death. The 8th house being a house of death. The 12th house being a one of loss and hospitals as well. Okay. For some of you, this could be maybe you doing a surgery. Okay, it doesn't mean death have to come from that. I'm not saying that at all. I don't know your chart. But it could be where maybe you have a liberating surgery just because Mars is there in that 8th house of surgery. The 12th house is of hospitals, okay? And it's a trine, so a very beneficial surgery. Okay, let's get your card, Aquarius. It's more internal for you all, this full moon. Remember, it takes 6 months to play out. Aquarius card for the full moon in Capricorn. Family. We also have finances. So I didn't mention that the 8th house does also have to do with you know, the wealth from other people, or the finances other people hold, money that we feel like other people have for us, or shared resources, shared responsibilities. Okay, so the 12th house is also a house of loss. So perhaps there could be discussions about sharing of assets. Okay, it doesn't mean that you're going to lose everything. It could simply be maybe with that division that occurs, you don't have as much as you wanted, but you still have. Now the 12th house also has to do to some degree with hidden support to us, as well as it has hidden enemies. It has hidden support to like backroom deals and negotiations. Lori would normally say from lunatic astrology. So maybe family could come in to help you out here with something, or people who you deem as family, even if they're not blood related. Okay, we're gonna move on to water signs. All right, water signs. So this is happening in your karma houses. We're going to start off with Cancer. Cancer, this is important for you because this is an angular house for you, apart from it being a karma house. Karma houses has to do with a relationship with others, right? And so for you, this is about wanting to have balanced relationships with other people, wanting to be in harmony with other people. There's a trine to Mars in Virgo Mars in Virgo and the South Node in Virgo in your third house, which also has to do with like siblings and your relatives, your friends, people in your neighborhood, community, stuff like that. Third house also has to do with communication, right? That's Gemini energy in the third house. Or Gemini themes, I should say, in the third house. For those of you who have some type of platform, because the third house could also have to do with media, what you have to say needs to be heard at this time. And the energy is favorable there for, I feel, reception from an audience, because the seventh house could be audience of what you have to say. Now, what you have to say might not be the easiest thing to say, right? Saturn in Aries there up in your 10th house. But I feel this is a time where you should say it and allow yourself to be heard. Let's talk about committed partnerships, romantic relationships, marriage, since this is the 7th house. Your person, because 7th house represents the other person, your person may be taking a look in the mirror after this full moon. Okay, and it could be because of some seed that you planted. It could even be an ex, because 7th house could be ex partners too. About something that you say or said already. Okay, that shifts their outlook on things. The seventh house could also be a second child if you have children. So this could be something changing for them, a thought process, a breakthrough that occurs for them, or just some type of new start in their life. Remember, Saturn in Aries energy is something's trying to start, but it's not really starting. We're going to come back to this energy again after the retrograde, right? But I feel like what's stopping this thing from starting is something internal for all the zodiacs, okay? And for you all, perhaps that look in the mirror from that person creates change and transformation in your relationship, allows for deeper levels of commitment. For some of you, it could also be just because there's this trine to Mars, a liberation of some sort from a toxic relationship. Some of you, it could be maybe changing location or moving out if your floating IC is in your third house, simply because of that Mars energy, right? Mars cuts and severs things. So you could be moving location from a partner, that partner is moving away, or there's a discussion that is had that brings some kind of ending in a relationship, okay? Or like I said, some type of breakthrough, right? Yeah, transformation wanted to show. Okay, for Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This doesn't give me oh, we're getting married vibes type energy with this. No, this gives me a sober-minded approach to something, having that difficult conversation with that person, or deciding that this is the path that we will take, but from a practical and sober-minded energy, okay? Tell me more for Cancer with this full moon in Capricorn, please. Cancer, full moon in Capricorn. Wow. We have attachment to the bottom and we have forgiveness, okay? And that's why I feel like this attachment makes sense at the bottom of the deck, simply because it's happening in your seventh house. The seventh house is about the way we attach to other people, whether securely or insecurely. But the forgiveness here tells me that someone will be asking for forgiveness after taking a hard look in the mirror, whether it's you or the other person. And I feel that comes from realizing that they weren't attaching securely, that what drove their decisions to do certain things, it might be of their attachments to things that they have outgrown in the past and things that they wanted to cling to, and it's like those bad habits, those toxic people, like they could not come in this chapter again, whether that be you or the other person. Because remember, the seventh house could be about the other person and you're just witnessing it, or as a result you also get impacted by it. Let's move on to Scorpios. Scorpio, so this is happening in your third house with a trine to Mars and a south node in your 11th house. The ruler of this is Saturn in Aries in your 6th house. So first, I will say that some of you all could be embarking on new ways of communicating. You could be embarking on some short skills, certification type courses. You could be changing your hopes, your wishes, your aspirations. You could be shifting that, okay? You could be coming to some type of realization that you have something to say. You might not necessarily know with the trine to Mars and South Node in your 11th house how the people out there would receive it. You know, the media is very involved here for you all. So what you put out to the masses, I do feel like it will be receptive, but I also feel like it will be different. I feel like it will be something that needed to be said and nobody else didn't want to say, right? I also feel like whatever this thing in the third house is that you realize that you want to start, that you have the ability to start, with the ruler being in your sixth house of your daily habits and routines, I feel like it's going to take more energy from you. I feel like you're going to have to be in a space where you communicate more with others as a result of this, whether it's like you're in a classroom and you have group projects, or you offer some type of service, and you're gonna have to be in communication with those people for that service. So let's say, for example, you decide you want to be a doula, right? Sixth house does have to do like healing and the physical body and stuff like that. You go ahead, you take your course, but now you're gonna have to widen your network so you could get clients, right? And push out your knowledge to let people know that you are knowledgeable in this area. So that's with the 3, 6, 11 axes. Like that's how it could potentially play out. Now the third house does have to do with our siblings and our relatives. I am a Scorpio rising, and I saw 2 days ago, I'm recording this on the 9th, how themes of my siblings come into the story. Okay, I said from the beginning that this may be a time where people have to say things that may not necessarily be receptive by others, because people who have this lunation in their natal chart around 18 degrees, they enjoy being praised, but they struggle with hearing truthful words. Okay, I would also say pay attention to your dreams at this time around this full moon, because it could be communicating things. But in terms of siblings, this could be where you have a hard conversations with your siblings. Okay, it might not be easy for them to accept certain truths from you, or for you to accept certain truths from them. And also, for some of them, it could be that they're having a man in the mirror moment. Okay, and this could be older or younger siblings, because you have the third house and the 11th house that is involved. The 11th house could be your older siblings, the third house could be seen as younger siblings, but it's just siblings or relatives. Okay, for some of you all, it could be friends, you and friends having to have a not so easy conversation. Okay, what do we have, please, for Scorpio with this full moon in Capricorn? Because unfortunately, and I have to say this, because Saturn is in your sixth house, and sixth house is a house of enemies, it is a challenging house. You might have to do certain things that you don't want to do. Like, you could find out a friend or a family member that they don't have the best of intentions in regards to you, right? Especially since Neptune is retrograde in that sixth house, so it's kind of pulling back the rose-colored glasses, and you might have to cut them off. Okay. Wow, we have healing and karmic lesson to the bottom of the deck. We pull healing, we have karmic lesson here. So I want to get one more on that before I say more. For Scorpios, please. Interesting, because Cancer also got attachment. Okay, so we have healing and attachment. So this could definitely be where you are healing your attachment wounds, and it might be wounds that also played out through your friendship circles, and wounds that played out with siblings. I watched that series Sirens, yeah, on Netflix. I believe it is on Netflix. If not, it's on some other platform. But it showed the dynamics of how two siblings grew up in the same household, and the way they choose to deal with their caregiver, their parent, after they're adults is vastly different, right? It's like whatever happened to them, their attachment styles, it turned out differently. So you have different levels of attachment style. You have insecure attachment styles. You have avoidant, you have dismissive avoidant, fearful avoidant, and you also have anxiously attached, right? And then you just have those who are secure in their attachment style. So you're definitely healing your anxious attachment style. And that might change your dynamics with your siblings and with your friends, okay? Pisces. Pisces, this is happening in your 11th house with a trine to Mars and a South Node in your 7th house. Now, for some of you all, this could be where your relationship with a friend changes, because you want to look at, is this balanced, right? Or even with a certain goal that you have or aspiration that you have in your life, right? Is it balanced? Is there equal give and take? Or this could be the other person from the 7th house, because Mars is there, and the 7th house represents the other people, the enemies, the clients, the business partner, the romantic committed partner, the husband and wife. So this could be where they're having changes with Mars, or they are making decisions, and it impacts your hopes, wishes, dreams for your life. Because it is a trine, I want to say that it's going to be beneficial, whatever they choose to do, because you're just gonna follow suit from that, or you're gonna have no choice but to follow suit from that. So let's put it to the extreme. Let's say they decide to leave you. Well, then now you get more time to focus on your dreams, your wishes. If you have a client that kind of goes off the rail and tell you something, or kind of call you out, then you're forced to introspect. Remember, this is the man in the mirror type thing, right? You're forced to introspect on, because the 11th house is a house of like what you know, right? So you're kind of forced to introspect on what it is that you know or thought you knew about the world, okay? So whatever does happen, whatever is triggered by that 7th house person, I feel like it brings through the proper illumination. 11th house is a really good house. So I wouldn't be too scared about it, okay? Unless you're reluctant to do something, then we do have the dispositor of this in your 2nd house. And so this could be about the way that you make money or share money, that you and this person have this conversation, right? Because it could, your finances, what you have, what you own, could definitely be a factor in this, okay? All right, for Pisces, what do we have with a full moon in Capricorn? Work. So this could be a work situation. I do see shame to the bottom of the deck and independent. So you may have to ask for help, or you may be pushed to do something on your own, to step into your independence, which makes sense, because I did say at the beginning, I hope you watched the beginning, if not, go back, that the dispositor being Saturn in Aries, it's that initiatory energy, is you having to do something, okay? All right, now we get to the earth signs whose Dharma houses are activated, which are very beneficial houses. So we're going to start off with Capricorn first. Capricorn, this is happening in a angular house for you. Just writing down the time here. And so this full moon is about you, especially if you have placements around 15 to 21 degrees of the sign of Capricorn. And there's a trine to Mars in the South Node in Virgo in your 9th house. So I do feel like on a conscious level, your thoughts, your processes, your morals, your belief is shifting. For some of you all, this could be where you pursue some form of higher education, or some type of court case or something that perhaps could put you in a more beneficial position in life, right? Because the 1st house is about everything about you. If your sun, it has to do with your career. It's your moon, it has to do with your personal and private life. So especially Capricorn moons and rising, it could definitely be about your emotional life. Now, because this has to do with Saturn in Aries being the person who has to initiate things, this is definitely where you're going to. And I don't necessarily feel Capricorns kind of just sit by and let life happen to them. I don't believe that about you all, but I feel that man in the mirror energy, where you have to also accept not only the praise but also the hurtful truth of facing yourself, that you're going to, that's how you're going to have to be a part of this story here. You're going to have to shift whatever that is about you that you need to change in order to move forward with things that you want in life, right? So you could be traveling around this time because there is that trine to Mars and the South Node in your ninth house. Would I recommend traveling around this time? I don't. I wouldn't. If I was a Capricorn rising, I wouldn't want to travel while Mars is in my ninth house. But if you have to, just pray over it. Okay. The ninth house is definitely about what we aspire, is about things that expand our life in a natural zodiac wheel, right? So again, what you think, what you believe, philosophy, your religious belief, or spiritual beliefs, if you have it, where you could travel and experience things that are different that also could impact your mind and expand your mind. So the ninth house is also about a mentor, a guru, a guide. So there could be someone who tells you something, or who makes some type of action with Mars, or something that was said to you from the past, South Node energy, or someone from your past who fills one of these capacities, that you're like reminded of it now, and it finally clicks for you, and that changes something in your life. Okay. I do feel it's about how you show up in the world, simply because we have Saturn, the ruler of this lunation, in your 10th house, and that's about your status, that's about your discipline, your responsibilities in life. Okay. What do we have, please, for Capricorn? No, that's not your 10th house. Saturn is in Aries in your 4th house. Walk that back. Saturn is in Aries for your 4th house. So it could be things to do with your home. Ooh, we got karmic debt here. Your home life, your mother, land, property. Okay, maybe some of you realize with this, you might have to move away from home. Maybe someone told you that in the past, that in order for you to get further in life, you're going to have to move away from home, okay? Or move away from your family. Family and codependent. Okay, Capricorn. I don't feel like I need to say anything more. I don't feel like there's a level of, like, you need to form your own identity, okay? A lot of what you have been doing, it seems, has to do with just walking in the shadows of others before you. It's time for you to break out of that. All right, that's interesting. Let's move on to Virgo. This is happening in your 5th house, Virgo. Let me just write down the time. With a trine to Mars and a South Node in your 1st house, simply put, you're going through a whole revamp of your identity with this South Node transit in your 1st house. You're not going to be a people pleaser anymore. You're going to be forced to look at things about yourself that are keeping you stuck, right? You're also going to have to cut off things, people, and places that you've outgrown, or that you need to outgrow, right? If they are toxic, if they are in any way blocking you from progressing to your next path, that's what the South Node do. It's kind of wiping away certain things. And with Mars presence, Mars is that sword, it's cutting away certain parts of your identity too. Now, because we have this lunation happening in your 5th house, the 5th house also has to do with like creativity and fertility. I do feel like whatever it is about you in terms of your personality, the way you see the world, how you assert yourself, right? 1st house energy. Whatever there that is impacting the way you create things, the way you are confident, the way your ability to have children, that's shifting. So I wouldn't be surprised if some Virgos post this this full moon, which is 6 months from now, if you or your partner expects, I see 4. So that's, like, to be this moon is setting the foundation for you to possibly be able to get with someone and procreate, or be able to express yourself in ways that you weren't able to before. I feel this has a lot to do with self-expression for you all. And because this is 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, it's a Dharma house that the ruler is in. Sorry, not Dharma house. It's a Moksha house that the ruler is in for you all, Aries, Saturn, Aries. There are certain things about yourself that is dying away, that is like a snake shedding its skin, right? That needs to be healed, some type of subconscious wounds that you're going to be forced to do while Saturn is in Aries. Now it's trying to start, but Saturn will retrograde back into your 7th house of Pisces, trying to get you to be more sober-minded when it comes to the people that you partner with, that you have balanced relationship with these people, that you're more in harmony with these people before it moves on to your 8th house. Okay, so just saying, there's a potential for creativity to finally come through, but by way of you changing certain things about yourself, your personality, the way you see the world. Okay, what do we have for Virgo, please? Ooh, I see self-discipline. Overthinking wanted to jump there just now. What do we have for Virgos, please? For the full moon in Capricorn, we have deception. We also have interference and communication. Okay, this is different from this message. This interference could be spiritual or it could be actually literal, because communication is right after it. So it could be someone saying something to somebody, or it could be you kind of, yeah, I see beginnings to the bottom. What you say or what you don't say, that is kind of interfering with that beginning, that change. You know, I did speak about your ability to express yourself, if you're expressing yourself properly. Because with deception here, this could either be self-deception, this could be someone deceiving you, or this could be you deceiving others. You not choosing to speak up, to speak the truth about certain things. Let me get one more on this deception, please, for Virgos. For Virgos, please, deception. This does not help me in any way, shape, or form, Spirit. I see travel. And I also see changes here. Maybe that could be astral travel, simply because of Saturn and Aries in your 8th house. So maybe that's the spiritual deception, the spiritual interference. Of course, Virgos will be the one. It has to be a mutable sign that brings forth confusion and making me work. What is this deception for Virgos, please? Could be about finances or expression, because 5 of Pentacles is also my insecurity card. Okay. And Ace of Cups. Yeah, you could maybe you're not really letting on, because we have the Page of Cups here, which is my right, and the deception card right after that with the 7 of Cups. Someone is not really letting on how much they care about someone. That's what it is. Okay. Not sure how travel really comes into that. Maybe you're astral traveling in each other's dreams, but someone isn't really letting on how they feel about someone else. They can't express themselves. 4, 9, 11. Now we move on to Capricorn. Sorry. Taurus. Taurus, this is your 9th house being activated along with your 5th house. Okay. Both Dharma houses, but the 9th house being more so a house that it's kind of like you're not really in control of the changes that happens there. Okay, it's more divine timing and orchestration type energy, but that house is also the connection to God, the spirit, so you could speak to God and spirit. There could be illuminations that you're having with this full moon about things that you've been programmed to believe, things that you've been taught, whether it be through the education system, religious system, certain philosophies that you have about life. There could be something that comes up about some travel experience or some type of court case as well. It's a very conscious house. It's not like, the 12th house that is subconscious. It's a very conscious house. So you will have awareness immediately of what this shift is, when it comes to that point for you all. I say when it comes to that point because lunations take 6 months to play out. So when it's triggered, really triggered, then that change could then come kind of in like an instance for you, a flash of insight. Someone, a mentor, a guru, a guide says something, a grandchild says something, right? Because night house could be grandchildren too. Says something that kind of shifts your perspective and expands your consciousness. Now with the trying to Mars and South Node in Virgo, the 5th house is also our children. It's our romantic partner. Okay, so there could be some type of dialogue between these two people in your life that you witness, or these two people, they're talking to you, and that brings forth some type of change. Because again, remember, I see this lunation as an internal shift for those who are willing to take the steps. Okay, Aries energy for you. Aries is in your 12th house, so it's gonna be more subconscious. It's gonna happen like it's gonna come to your consciousness, and then you're gonna have to do the work to reprogram yourself subconsciously. Because a lot of times you could hear something and it's like, yeah, I heard that, but man, I've been so stuck in this pattern. I've been stuck in this is all my life, that I knew it as such, that it's kind of hard to get it out, right? So you're gonna have to be disciplined enough to break whatever program or pattern that comes to your conscious awareness. For some of you all, maybe you on off topic of subconscious and stuff like that, if you want to pursue higher education, you may have to, with Saturn Aries here in your 12th house, maybe it's online or abroad, foreign, somewhere far away from you. You might have to maybe take some losses. 12th house is the house of loss, perhaps financially, in order to invest in this thing. You do have Gemini in your 2nd house, so money will be coming in, but I feel you're gonna have to redirect those finances. What do we have for Taurus, please? Full moon in Capricorn. Some of you could be ending a relationship. Mars and the South Node in your 5th house. There could be an end of a relationship. Maybe because you realize you're on different conscious levels. Why am I taking more than one? It should only be one. So yeah, cycles. And then I see miracles. So there could be a shift in the pattern here for you all that occurs. Okay, which will be very beneficial, this shift. And the miracles is kind of what I was saying with the 9th house at the beginning. It's out of your hands, basically. It's gonna be divine orchestration, but it expands you somehow. Fire signs. Artha house is being activated for fire signs. Let's start off first with Aries. I'm starting with, from each element, I'm starting off with the house that is affected by angular houses first. Okay, Aries. So this is happening in your 10th house, a very public house. It has to do with your father. It has to do with your discipline, your responsibilities, what you're known for, your status, your reputation, whether good or bad. Okay. This is, Capricorn energy is the 10th house. So this is very familiar energy for those of you who have Aries placements. There is Saturn in your first house at the moment, who is the ruler of this lunation. So you for sure, like Capricorns, you're definitely being asked to take that man in the mirror approach, and realize what it is that you have to change about yourself in order to get to the thing that you want. So in this case, the thing that you want would be 10th house related things, things that you're ambitious about, things that you could use to your benefit, right? Because if you have a good status or reputation, you could use that to your benefit. But there's some discipline or some way that you see the world, or some way that others see you, that is going to have to shift with Saturn there in your first house. Okay. The first house also has to do with your sense of independence, the way you assert yourself. So there is a little assertion that you'll have to do for this. There is a trine to Mars in the South Node in your 6th house. So your daily habits and routines, the way you give to other people, that's going to have to change. Let's say, for example, you are entering politics, even if it's at the municipal level. You're definitely then going to have to put yourself out there to be of service and work for the people, so that this is something that you're known for in the top of the sky, 10th house. Okay, you're going to have to get down to the grassroots. If this is something with your health, because 6th house does rule the health. The first house could be seen to do with the body as well. At least your physical appearance, that is. Maybe you may need to be disciplined enough to start some workout or health regimen or medicinal, holistic, whatever it is that you choose. And let's say, for example, that's if you want to be a model, if you want to be an athlete, these are the things that you want to know for, that you're going to make the changes from the 1st and the 6th house. Okay, so let's see what we have for you, Aries. What's a card for Aries with this full moon in Capricorn? We have divine masculine energy here, which is interesting because the 10th house, which is lunation, is happening. It does have to do with the father. And at the bottom of the deck, we have a family. Okay. So there could be something on the masculine side of your family that will come into focus. I just saw dreams, so you could be dreaming of a passed on loved one. Give me one more, please. What's this divine masculine about for Aries? And Aries is that masculine energy. It is the emperor in the tarot, but we want it in a divine space, right? We don't want it in a distorted space. Yeah, we have work, which is the 10th house. Okay, so maybe it's the masculine approach that you're going to have to take. I do see investment to the bottom of the deck here. So that is 6th house energy. I feel there. What are you willing to be disciplined enough? What are you willing to invest in order to get to that thing that you want to be known for? All right. We're going to move on to Sagittarius. All right, Sagittarius, this is happening in your 2nd house. What truths and realizations or breakthroughs are you about to have when it comes to your finances? I feel for you all, Sagittarius, you're going to realize that because of the... Okay, so your angular house will also be involved, which is a Virgo in your 10th house. So I feel for some of you all, you're going to realize that there's more power that... I don't want to say power. There's more, let me use responsibilities for lack of better words. There's more responsibilities that you could take up at your workplace, or for whatever it is that you're known for and how you make money, right? Because, essentially that would come, more responsibility should come with like a pay raise. So for some of you all, this could be where you're getting that, where perhaps you're getting a raise, or where you might have to step outside of the box of what is always expected of you and ask for said raise. Okay, now because Mars in the South Node is present in your 10th house, this could be where a boss leaves and then you interview for a position, or this could be where you have to leave a job and find a position elsewhere. Okay, the ruler of this is Aries, and Aries is in your 5th house. So there is good luck available to you. I see the fifth house as good luck, but the fifth house also has to do with, you know, your sense of self-expression and being confident in yourself and your gifts and abilities, right? What you will and what you can and can't do. So again, this is where you're going to have to ask for something. When Saturn transits the fifth house, as Scorpios will tell you, that's a time where play and pleasure out the window. So to whom much is given, much is expected. So this could be definitely be a time where you have more on your plate, and you have to be disciplined enough to do that. But the result definitely will be an increase in your finances if you play this right. If not, then you might have to go looking for elsewhere. What do we have for Sagittarius, please? What do we have for Sagittarius, please? Full moon in Scorpio. Proposal, yeah. You might have to go to a boss and say, hey, I think I will be good in this position. Or just, I don't know, like approach someone that you want to do some type of work for and say, hey, I think I'll be good for this position, right? Proposal and assistance. It could be you proposing to assist someone in something, or this could be some type of proposal that you have and someone comes to your aid in order to get it done. Okay, so that's why I said, like, I feel like there's good luck that is somehow involved with this, with Saturn there in the fifth house, but just know that it's not going to be easy afterwards. Leo energies. Leo, this is happening in your sixth house, and it's kind of like what I told Taurus. You're not necessarily going to be in control of these changes, right? It's a mutable house. So your health could be changing. What you do for work could be changing. There is a trine to Mars and the South Node in Virgo in your second house. So I'm hearing scared money don't make money. Take that how you will, okay? We do have the ruler of this lunation in your ninth house. No. Yes, Saturn in Aries in your ninth house. So you might have to allow yourself to invest maybe in some course, in some certification, right? Scared money don't make money. So like, don't be scared to invest in this thing if you want more. Some of you may need to perhaps get guidance from someone that is experienced in your field, ninth house energy, okay? Even if it means paying for that person's expertise, all right? But I do feel that you have the potential 6 months post this donation for the way that you earn things to change, but subsequently what you do on a day-to-day basis will change. Like, you may see where you're not as productive in your day-to-day work, and so you're not getting the best, especially if you're an entrepreneur, you know, you're not getting what you need done. It could also be if this is related to your health, because of Mars and the South Node there in your second house. This could be where you're gonna have to cut out certain things, right? So you pay the course, you know, to learn more, expand your consciousness about what affects your health from the ninth house energy, and then, you know, you have to cut out what you ingest, second house energy, what you put into your body, okay? So your one's kind of short and sweet. Let's get you your card, Leo. What's the card for Leo for the full moon in Capricorn, please? And remember, you all have a retrograde that's coming up soon on the 18th of July in your first house. So perhaps you're going to have to go back to old habits, or just look over old habits that you once had. Ooh, we got anger and jealousy. You know, anger affects the liver, okay? We do have karmic lessons. So by holding on to this anger, by holding on to this jealousy, there is something that you're not learning here. And that anger could be affecting your health. What else do we have with this anger and jealousy for my Leos? I see heartbreak here. So it could be a past relationship or a past betrayal from someone, even if it's not romantic relationship, friendship. Because six house does have to do with things that challenge us, right? And even enemies. So are people that, you know, they do things that create challenges in our life that forces us to learn that karmic lesson. The sixth house is a house of learning karmic lessons. I don't know why I'm feeling Virgo energy for you all. Well, yeah, Virgo rules the sixth house in a traditional wheel, but maybe it's a Virgo for you all that created some type of hurt or pain. You're gonna have to let that go though, because I feel this just has to do with your health, like it's affecting your health. So whether that be you turn to eating or drinking or some type of substance to numb what you're feeling, or it affects what you eat, so you're not eating properly, whatever it is, maybe you might want to turn to physical exercise to get the anger out. Maybe you might want to turn to somatic exercises to get the anger out. Whatever it is that allows that to pass for you all. Okay? All right, until next time, be blessed.